So we're getting into the meat of what we're here to do, and that's critical think. But I thought I would take a step back and sort of give a little bit description of actually how to critical think. But prior to doing that, I want to reinforce the consequences of not critical thinking on important issues. So the consequences of not critical thinking obviously are impulsive decisions. You're not thinking through what you are deciding to do. You're going based on what your emotion is or whatever. That rarely leads to a good decision. So therefore, impulsive decisions is a problem with respect to not critically thinking through decisions. You get low self-esteem. If critical thinkers can dominate you and outpace your mind, then you're always going to be in a position where someone's smarter than you. And therefore you default to them with respect to making important decisions. Well, this leads to a lower self-esteem and not being able to decide for yourself. You'll come into situations where you know that's not good for you, but you won't be able to articulate why that's not good for you because you have not been through the process of critical thinking that decision. Groupthink is a very, very dangerous and what we see a lot in today's society. You can go to George Orwell 1984 to find out what that is. But basically, you just naturally think as the group thinks. You don't know why you think that way. You don't care. You just want to be part of the team. And therefore, your self-identity is lost based in this situation. You don't have any identity outside of that group. So therefore, that group will now control you on everything. Low critical thinkers tend to accept emotional lies over evidential truth. The problem is that we want to believe in something so bad, we'll even believe lies that support that untruth versus evidential truth that goes against that emotional desire to have that thought or that decision. So you end up in a bad situation because truth leads you to freedom, lies lead you somewhere else, not so good. As previously alluded to, you cannot communicate your thoughts if you have not thought them through with the critical thinking skills that we're going to be talking about. You then end up with poor communication skills. So people who are good critical thinkers and who can communicate very, very well their position will always out discuss you on your issue and convince you that what you believe is wrong and what they believe is right. So at the end of the day, poor communication leads to your low self-esteem, low self-identity, believing in lies, making impulsive decisions. But the most important and probably most dangerous part of not being able to critical thinking that's highly correlated with mental illness. Because you may believe in something that is true, however, you are controlled or manipulated or part of a group that represents something that's different. Living in two different realities sometimes can be very, very confusing and very harmful when those realities conflict with each other. In the next episode, we will break out the steps in critical thinking.